Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ol' Switcheroo. This is a podcast connected to the Nintendo Enthusiast Forum community. On this podcast, we talk about Nintendo-related stuff, particularly Switch-related stuff, I guess, right now, hence the name. Today, we have a nice group of people joined with us to talk about tomorrow's Nintendo Direct and what we think is going to come. So, I am the host of the evening. My name is Tyson. I'm the editor-in-chief of TV Enthusiast. I have a different podcast. You can check that out. Over here, we also have William Roerig, who is also on TV Enthusiast and the podcast.
Hello.
We also have Fried from the Nintendo Enthusiast Forums.
Hello.
And Travis, who is swimming in hurricane waters.
Woo! Yeah, paddling is a better way to say it. I'm a little bit better now.
Paddling
down the
during
river.
a hurricane? That's definitely a paddling.
You're like in one of those Mark Twain riverboats. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Hurricanes.
Kayaks are super handy in hurricanes. This is what I found out.
So, today we're going to be talking, like I said, about tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. It's a 45-minute Direct. I believe that's longer than their E3 presentation.
Yeah, it is. E3 was 25 minutes, I believe.
Oh yeah, the E3 one was really short.
Yeah, it was very short.
So, this either means that they're going to abandon the rapid-fire, really good way they handled the E3 one, or we got a lot of content. It's one or the other, or some hybrid therein.
They're gonna drone on about Animal Crossing Mobile for 45 minutes.
You know,
They already said no mobile
are.
games. They said no mobile
did they?
games. Yeah, and they updated the Nintendo voice chat app just like a few minutes ago or something, I think.
Oh, I wonder if you'll actually see actual voice chat with people in Splatoon. I highly doubt it, though.
Well, they updated the app so that you can actually do multitasking now. So
They took away the glaring flaw that.
Oh, yeah, that it would leave the Bluetooth stream enacted even whenever it's off.
Where they
That
have
drove me
the
nuts.
screen on and stuff. Yeah, they fixed
when
that.
the
I
screen's
thought my
off,
phone was broken, like the first 2 days.
yeah.
Why is my sound not working in this car, you know?
It was. I think it seriously was killing my phone because every time I'd use that app just for Splatoon, just to like order gear and stuff, and I'd be like listening to a podcast playing Splatoon. I'd open up the app and my podcast would just start like skipping like crazy. I'm like, man, this is like killing my resources. What the hell's going on in this app? So,
Yeah, it was not
interested in
coded
checking it
very
out.
well.
Yeah,
And they have this company that's doing their coding for them, DNA or
Yeah.
Dina, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
You would
Dana.
think they'd notice that, right off the bat.
Oh,
They,
Dana doesn't give a shit.
No, that's true. They take over everything and steal your information.
Yeah.
But
they should have just partnered with Discord for this app.
you got a point. Discord would be awesome. I'd love to see me some Discord on there.
Discord is my default Nintendo Switch voice chat app.
Hey, did you know we have a Discord at Nintendo Enthusiasts?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
You guys-
it's Enthusiast Gaming on Discord. If anybody wants to join it, definitely. We do gaming every Tuesday evening. There's plenty of people in the Discord channel, so you're always liable to find somebody up for a game of Splatoon or ARMS or whatever comes out in the
Yeah, I
future.
know. Everybody gets there about 8 p.m. Central, so just kind of plugging that in there. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm usually not there just because that's a bad time for me, but I just hop on whenever I can and contact you guys.
I
Yeah.
try. I've just been way too busy lately.
I mainly just log in and look for you guys in the friends section and try to find you.
so what do y'all think is actually going to be there? You know that they did that Nindy sizzle reel the other day. Do y'all think that's going to be just kind of shown at the beginning?
I could imagine they might show the sizzle reel again just because it's short, and they already have it just for people that might have missed it. I hope they don't just because it's kind of
It's redundant.
yeah, it's redundant. We don't really need it. I don't really think we need indie focus at all on this. Indie support is strong. We got that message loud and clear.
Oh, yeah. But I think they're going to take that sizzle reel, and if you've noticed the last couple days, because the last couple days I've kind of tuned into things, they've been talking about indie sales. It's selling more than all the other consoles combined.
I could
bet
see them
you they
doing
take
that, like Reggie basically using that as they used to always talk about how great, the system was selling and stuff for the Wii.
And I think they're going to drag that into the actual Switch sales numbers. I think they're going to treat it like this whole, they kind of do stuff similar to these Apple events. They're very close together. And a big part of these events that are going on are their sales numbers. I bet that's one reason why it's a little bit longer than the others.
Yeah. I still think it's funny. I keep seeing like threads popping up in different places going like, it's all the PlayStation 4 is actually outselling the Switch in England or something, and I'm like, are there any Switches in the store?
Exactly.
Because if there are, I know some people that would probably be happy to import them because you can't find a single one.
Went and found them and sold them for $700 or pounds.
Because it doesn't mean that the PlayStation 4 is actually selling better when it's there's no systems able to be sold for the other system.
Precisely.
But yeah, so it's I could see them doing a sales thing, talk about the indie stuff, and the indie stuff is also a good segue into Rocket League, which I think we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We probably get a firm release date on Rocket League. I don't think we have a firm release date on that, do we?
Just holiday season, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We might get a release date for Rocket League then.
Yeah, I could see that being the case, and maybe a new trailer, because they showed the new cars and stuff, but they could put like a full trailer together with all that. So I could see them doing that, because Rocket League's basically an indie game. It's just a bit of a more higher profile indie game. So I could see them using that and maybe starting out talking about sales, talking about the indies, going into Rocket League, and then transitioning into third-party support.
Yeah, and I definitely think, speaking of third-party support, we're going to be inundated with like 5 to 10 minutes of EA just going, sports, 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 sports. I think we're going to see that quite a bit. I mean, it's going to be games with balls. And NBA 2K is exactly like all the other versions. We're going to hear that like 50 times.
So EA is going to give us one game, EA Sports Ball.
It's sports ball. And wrestling.
Yeah.
Sports balls with wrestling.
That's 2K.
Sports balls.
I think
2K is different from EA. EA is only giving us FIFA as far as I know. And from the producers, the way they talk, I don't think they're going to support us further than that, so I'm not sure about EA showing up in this event.
They did code a new engine for FIFA, though, didn't they?
Sure, I guess.
The PR department said they did a new engine, which means nothing.
And I think I mixed my companies for a second there. Sorry about that. A little out of the loop.
Yeah, 2K is doing a lot more on the sports, I think, for Switch.
Well, they have two at least. And they also have LA Noir coming over. That's like 3 games.
LA Noir is a pretty big deal, because that's a Rockstar game. That doesn't mean that we're going to get good Rockstar support. The Wii got a few Rockstar games. It got like Bully. I think, did it get the table tennis game? I think it got that, but like a late port of it. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm not expecting a lot there. The hopeful one would be like, I think, maybe a port of Red Dead, the original.
They're not porting Red Dead to anything. I wouldn't even get my hopes up on a PS4 or Xbox One port of Red Dead, let alone a Switch port. And the reason I never got a PC port was because the code base is literally a mess. It is a labyrinthine mess of code that they managed to got up and working the first time, and they can't reproduce it. And so there's just no hope for any further ports.
But LA Noire had some issues too, having to do with the development studio working on it and really bad relations between them and Rockstar.
Right. Well, there's bad relations, yeah. But the problem with Red Dead, I understand, is that the code base is just a mess, and they can't recreate that game even if they wanted to.
They'd have to recreate it, really. Not.
Oh yeah, they'd have to start from scratch, really, which would be
just be able to draw on the old assets and start the code base from scratch.
Yeah, they would have to basically, because apparently, like that had a pretty tumultuous development where like it wasn't turning out very good, and then I guess Rockstar came in and they freaking like
dumped a bunch of money on it till it worked.
Dumped a bunch of money, like overhauled it. They had some guy there, I guess, who just completely overhauled it, and I don't think he works for Rockstar anymore. Something going on with that.
So, do y'all think that this is just kind of a question? It's not really a prediction. Do y'all think they would ever drop the megaton of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Switch? That's like instant.
It seems
like
logical. It seems like it should be.
It seems like it should be, but it won't because
it's too logical.
PlayStation, Sony probably pays them off.
Because it's right. When's the last time Rockstar published a Grand Theft Auto game on Nintendo console?
That would be Chinatown Wars for.
No, that's not console. That's a handheld. That's a
Nintendo system.
We could say the Switch is a handheld.
I was specifically thinking about console versions of Grand Theft Auto.
that don't exist on the Nintendo systems.
Bingo, exactly. So my hopes for a Grand Theft Auto 5 Switch are pretty nil based on that history.
Ironically, though, that the team that ended up becoming Rockstar North, which is basically Rockstar proper in Edinburgh, Scotland, they're like the main Rockstar team. They started out as, a DMA Designs, which was part of the Nintendo Dream Team on the N64.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They made Body Harvest, I think.
Were they the ones that did
Body
Silicon
Harvest,
Valley?
Or was it, what'd they make?
It wasn't Silicon Valley, but it was something like that. It was
the Google. Y'all talk.
They're also responsible for one of my personal favorite games, Lemmings.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, DMA Designs, that's what turned into Rockstar North and the handlers of Grand Theft Auto. The question is there bad blood that's holding back Nintendo support from Rockstar North? Because they had a close relationship with Nintendo before?
I think it's just business, because back when Grand Theft Auto came out, Nintendo still had the stigma attached to them where they were for kids. A lot of developers gave that excuse when they declined to port games to GameCube.
Yeah, but you'd think like
this is too
the GameCube, around when they started porting a bunch of the PS2 Grand Theft Autos to like Xbox, they could have done the same thing.
Oh, they easily
could. They could have done it for Wii. I mean, they were still, it's not like late ports are a problem for them. They ported GTA 3 to like Android and iOS
they ported
years ago,
Xbox. And you gotta think Xbox sales were not much higher than GameCube's.
Yeah, so that's what makes me think like maybe there's a little bit of bad blood there.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, guys, it was Body Harvest. I just looked it up.
Okay.
Body Harvest, but one of my favorite games too, Uniracers.
Uniracers.
Uniracers was awesome.
They did Uniracers. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's not a very long list, but it's Blood Money, Hired Guns, Menace, Tactics, and Wild Metal Country, Body Harvest, and Uniracers. So that are all their games.
Okay. Yeah. So I got to imagine there's bad blood, and that's kind of what's holding back. And it's not such bad blood that they're not willing to work with Nintendo at all, because obviously they've let other Rockstar departments work with it, with Bully and now with LA Noire. I just think that the people at Rockstar North themselves probably don't want to deal with Nintendo.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, you can't run a business off of bad blood.
It happens. It happens though, and it can go away. I mean, there's clear bad blood between Nintendo and Square after their split, and that was resolved.
Right. A lot of that was Yamauchi. Yamauchi was like, he was very hard driving. He expected a certain amount of loyalty from their third-party partners, and then when Square broke off, Yamauchi was very salty over it.
Well, he ran Nintendo like a Yakuza boss.
Yeah, he ran Nintendo like a Yakuza boss. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the case with 2K. We should also mention some of the other things that have kind of been happening that seem to be pointing towards direct involvement, which is that Soraya Saga, who's the wife of Takahashi over at Monolith Soft, retweeted the direct in Japan, which almost certainly means there's going to be something related to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 there, which seemed like a no-brainer. Yeah. It seemed like a no-brainer.
It's actually confirmed that we'll get the official release date for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. No, it's not getting delayed till 2018. It's this year still.
Team 2017 here.
I want it desperately in 2017. I still won't believe it until I've beaten the game and all of its DLC, if there isn't.
December 31st, 2017.
I'll have finished the game but not 100%ed it, and I'll be like, I don't know. I just don't know if this game is coming out this year.
So I think we're definitely, though, going to see more of the story introduction. I saw the last couple days things have been not exactly leaking out, but more of the story is developing to where it's talking about how it's a water planet. Don't want to spoil too much, I guess. But so they're these big monsters that you go on like every other Monolith game. But I think we're going to see more of the story for a significant amount of time in this. But I think the graphics are going to be upgraded quite a bit. From the last
version was a pretty old build. Like all the ones that have been even at recent events have been from a very old build of the game.
Yeah.
We could see that.
Another game we know is going to be there is Mario Odyssey.
That was confirmed out front.
They'll probably talk about how they made it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. lately.
And we know that we are getting some 3DS love in this Direct.
Womp womp womp. Sorry.
I feel about the same way.
I just want Switch stuff 24/7 now.
So the E3 showcase was only Switch, right?
No, E3 showcase was only Switch. You're right.
But they did the Metroid thing at Treehouse afterwards.
Yeah, they said
tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Really?
so this is going to have 3DS as well. I don't think it's going to be a lot though, but there are some titles that they kind of, I think, need to represent just because
90% of the games are going to be 3DS. And going up to two,
I hope not.
Oh, I hope not. I'm pretty much
Metroid,
already
I'm
buried
sure is going to
mine.
be there. They're probably going to have a launch trailer for Metroid.
right.
Kind of a bigger, more story-focused or something trailer. And then I imagine they're going to give us some details on Usum, Pokemon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon.
Oh, okay. I was like wondering what the hell is Usum?
I have no clue what you just said.
Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Is that a
which
type
are-
of soup?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Usam. It's delightful.
It's made from rare Pokemon. Or boiled
Well,
alive like lobsters.
Well, Slowpoke Tail is a delicacy in Pokemon.
Oh.
Yes.
That's like canon. That's like mentioned several times in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So yeah,
I guess it wouldn't be that hard to catch if they're slow, so.
exactly.
Of course, that's why the little thing's eating his tail, I bet.
Like,
Sorry.
yeah,
I just
that's
had a revelation.
There's like a part
A
where you
little monster biting its tail whenever he's evolved, isn't there?
see what's on the shelf, and there's Slowpoke Tail, Slowpoke Tail fillets in the freezer section.
So yeah, there's I think that's going to be the majority of 3DS support. You guys think there's going to be anything new for 3DS?
Yeah,
New Kirby game.
yeah, the Kirby game.
Okay, that's been rumored. Yeah. There
I
could,
thought they were
Mario-
doing that for the Switch.
there could also be was it a Detective Pikachu, which has been
you mean
long
like-
held off.
Well, they're making that a major motion picture now.
Yeah, so but because of that, I could totally see them doing the game,
Yeah,
even
they'll
as late as it is.
Yeah, they'll localize it because there's a movie now. That
We
makes
totally. Have y'all seen the Joe Pesci version?
I haven't
of
seen the
that?
Joe Pesci. I've seen the Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's what I meant. Danny DeVito. Sorry, getting them
Yeah.
mixed
sense.
up.
Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say there's a Joe Pesci version now.
I really hope I would love to see him do the voice in that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I had no idea. I haven't heard anything about that project since like they announced it. Like the
Yeah.
press release. I don't even know what's happening with that movie right now.
But yeah, it's kind of in behind the scenes negotiations right now, I imagine.
Yeah.
Pre-production. But do you guys think that? So that's pretty much it. We Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Detective Pikachu, maybe Metroid, and Kirby, and that's pretty much it. Or do you think there's anything else coming on the 3DS front?
I think they're really starting to put all their eggs in the Switch basket here nowadays. I think whenever, they did the Pokemon reveal and all that last time, it was almost killed to me, all that stuff.
F-Zero 3DS.
Oh, I would be so bad.
Retro's new game, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze 3DS.
Well, they ported the first Donkey Kong to 3DS,
Yep.
so why not?
But that's their only game they're working on.
Yeah.
All their
Oh, okay.
resources.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like the least interesting stuff to talk about, I think, with 3DS software, because we're just kind of waiting for that to die, I think.
Yeah. I made my
My
headstone
God.
for it already. Uh-oh, dogs. Let me kill my mic.
So Travis will be back in a little bit. He's being attacked by a pack of wild dogs right now.
It happens. That's what happens in Texas.
Yeah, there are wild dogs navigating the flooded streets,
Yeah, exactly.
hunting people for prey. I was gonna say, what was the other thing I was gonna mention along the lines of?
So you said that Ashley tweeted the direct. Kamiya retweeted the direct.
That's it. Kamiya also retweeted this direct.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta
means-
3DS.
3DS, yes.
Yeah, for that 3DS would be pretty good.
They've been trolling. Platinum's been trolling Nintendo fans for a while now.
Right. Well, Kamiya retweeting that could mean absolutely nothing. He could just be trolling some more because he knows exactly what reaction that's going to get.
He's just angry that he still hasn't found a Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
No, like
ask your mom.
Kamiya and Platinum, they've been making some comments that seem almost like trolling in regards to Nintendo stuff. Like somebody asked about Wonderful 101, and they said, "What about Wonderful 102?" It's like So does that mean we're getting Wonderful 102, or are they just fucking with us? They're probably just fucking with us.
They're probably just fucking with us.
I'm going to agree. I don't know. I just shot again. Sorry.
we were talking about Kamiya retweeting the direct as well, and how Platinum and Kamiya himself have all been basically trolling Nintendo fans with comments to give Nintendo fans hope about various franchises coming to the Switch, like Wonderful 102 and Bayonetta 3 and all sorts of stuff.
Aren't they referencing, though, I caught something like yesterday saying that the new game with Travis Touchdown is somehow involving the shirts he's wearing, and it references other games. Like, the game will play, like, various other games. So
that's Suda 51. That's Grasshopper.
Oh, okay. I'm getting things mixed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, we're talking about Platinum, so like
okay.
Hideki Kamiya,
yeah, I got you.
Bayonetta, stuff like that. So,
I'm glad.
I mean, the one I think all of us would love the most is Bayonetta 3. I can't speak for you guys, though.
Yeah, Bayonetta 3 would be amazing.
I know there's some people on the boards. I know Matt, for instance, would be more psyched for Wonderful 102.
Yeah, on Platinum thing though, they're releasing, I mean it's rumored, but it's pretty much gonna happen that they're releasing Bayonetta 1 and Vanquish on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
And I kind of see that maybe happening for Switch 2. I mean, a lot of Platinum properties are being ported over. Like Okami was just announced as well, and that's a Clover game.
And that's also what they did just now with LA Noire. It's coming to PS4 and Xbox One and also Switch. So that seems to be like a new way to do it. Port the old generation games to new generation hardware, and then over to the Switch as well while you're at it.
Yeah, I'd love to see Vanquish on Switch.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would be psyched about that. On the forums, there's a pretty big group of people that love that game, so that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool as a portable game. But, trying to think of what other things do we think are going to come from this. Do you think there's going to be anything related to system software versus just games? Do you think we're going to get streaming apps? They've talked about how they're talking about those already and that they're going to come. But...
No, I don't think so. I don't think Netflix is. I don't think that's a Nintendo Direct announcement anymore. Like, who cares? Like, really.
I'm just hoping for Amazon, because I disconnected my Wii U and I have a Chromecast, and Amazon's like the only company without a Chromecast app.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I just want Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have them. I don't think you need to waste a second at Direct, like, mentioning it.
What do you think about other, like, software services and stuff? Like, what if they introduce themes like they have on the 3DS over to Switch, or old abandoned features like, the 3DS's beloved Street Pass functionality?
The capture button on the Switch is supposed to record video.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I could see them talking about that. That would be interesting. Direct posting prior to YouTube. They've done that before with like Mario Kart and stuff.
They need to expand the apps where you can directly post to, because right now you can post. I think you can post directly to Facebook and Twitter right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all that really matters, right? And I don't think they want to connect to like Reddit or 4chan.
Oh yeah. Post to 4chan. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I think it'll be pretty much limited to Facebook and Twitter. I mean, Google Plus really isn't a thing anymore, and I can't see them saying now we have LinkedIn. Wouldn't necessarily make sense. So that would be like system software.
No.
Other game-wise,
I would think we might see Mario and Rabbids DLC start showing up.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think we're going to see a lot of DLC or update information in this Direct.
Because there's a lot of downtime before Mario. We've got over a month, and there's not another. Is Pokken in that time period? I mean,
I think so.
It doesn't count. Honestly, that doesn't count.
I think Pokken comes out no, it's not Pokken. It's Fire Emblem Warriors comes out like a week before.
Pokken comes out in September. This month, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real low-key one, I believe. It's already on the Wii U, and there's some issues with the demo. It's actually pretty blurry looking.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of people complaining, so I downloaded the demo, and I kind of noticed it, too. I don't know if that'll change. It might just be that there's way too much, some sort of graphical filter being put on it. But, yeah, I definitely think we'll see that, and I think we're going to see some more of the ports being talked about, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2.
Yeah.
Or is that Xenoverse? Sorry, guys, I'm a little off the
yeah, I thought I went
whichever
back
Dragon Ball.
yeah, Dragon. Oh, we're probably gonna hear more about Xenoverse 2. If anybody, if we're not gonna hear about Dragon Balls or anything because they want to sell people on Switch. They want to sell Xenoverse 2. They don't want to get people hyped for some other game right now. So yeah, we might.
They could do some of the other anime licenses though, like One Piece or Naruto.
Yeah, I did see somebody posted or the people that did One Piece did a graphic comparison between Wii U and Switch version. Like that was on Reddit. So we'll probably hear a little bit about that.
Yeah,
I think
I could definitely see that.
RPGs too. Like I think they're probably going to have a sizzle reel based on that. You know, between talking about upcoming Dragon Quest, Octopath Traveler, and some other things. Maybe a little peek at Fire Emblem.
Well, see, that's an interesting thing because Octopath Traveler is listed on Square Enix's games that they're showing at TGS. And they just released a tweet saying that they were going to have like a demo of it at TGS.
Nice.
So I could totally see them premiering a new trailer in the direct and then having it, on the show floor at TGS.
Yeah, because the Switch is a nice little RPG machine, or it's, revving up to be that.
Yeah,
I'd
definitely.
love to see the Tales of game, whichever Tales of is going to come out.
I don't think we're going to see that yet.
I don't think we will yet. I don't think we'll see that till next year.
Dragon Quest XI would be awesome. The game's already out in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So, not the Switch version, but we haven't seen the Switch version at all. We haven't seen anything of the Switch version. We just know it exists. So it would be cool if they showed that. Shin Megami Tensei, I know that's one that front, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. I'd like to see any show anything, art,
yeah, we got a very tiny trailer. It just showed some of the monsters and it was kind of mostly playing off the engine. It was kind of an engine trailer for the game. Yeah, I could see some more coming from that. I don't know though. It's kind of like it's questionable territory. Japan's a weird one because they go radio silent to a much greater degree than they do in the West.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you kind of have no idea when that stuff's going to resurface. I mean, was anybody expecting No More Heroes to show up at the Nindies?
I was expecting it to show up at the Nindies, but then was anybody expecting No More Heroes to be announced at the Switch reveal conference?
That is.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff seems to come out of nowhere.
And hey, there were two people that I can think of that showed that showed up at that Nintendo Switch reveal event, but didn't show any games. That just talked. The other was the Yakuza lead at Sega.
We're getting the Switcheroo game.
Yeah, that could be interesting too to show. I mean, I thought maybe it was too early to show any of those games, but hey, we saw No More Heroes, so who knows?
So off the wall. Speaking of off the wall things, the two things that I think that might happen that probably no one will agree with. I think we might actually see Monster Hunter somehow. I know that's making a lot of angry Switch fans, so I'm hoping
that'll be at the end of the podcast. It'll be like, hey, last we want to talk about Monster, and then it'll cut out and it'll be like a Sony logo.
Nope.
They yanked the guy off camera. But I also think we might see some sort of either a spin-off or a fishing game, even of Final Fantasy.
We're not going to see. We are not going to see.
Fishing game is that stupid VR game. I mean, what were they thinking?
We are not going to see Monster Hunter or anything because Capcom is being really stupid when it comes to Switch.
They could make so much money.
They could. But I do think we will see something from Capcom. Mm-hmm. We will see a port of the Disney Afternoon Collection.
No, that makes too much sense.
No, because one of the developers from Digital Eclipse retweeted the Direct and said he was looking forward to it.
Oh.
Have they been working on anything else?
No.
Anything related to Capcom?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Well, they have something else that they're going to show tomorrow. Because that makes way too much sense for Capcom to do.
I swear to God, that has to be what it is because people were fucking begging for it, and it cost them $5 to do it. So I don't see why not.
Yeah, Will and I talked about this before when it happened. We were saying that it would probably have sold twice as much on Switch that it did on the other systems combined because Nintendo is the nostalgia play system.
Oh yeah.
If you want to make a nostalgia play, you should do it on a Nintendo system. That's where you're going to get people.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's so stupid that didn't come to Switch. Or even to Wii U or 3DS. I mean, it's not like it was a game that couldn't have run on 3DS.
Yeah, it's just like ports of NES games. You could run those on anything. It was so stupid. It wouldn't have...
Could have released it for the Wii.
It's not like it's not like it would be expensive to port. Really, it was stupid. stupid. There was like no reason for it not being on Switch or 3DS. I could understand Wii U because we use the dead market, sure, whatever. But
I still stand by the theory that Capcom and Konami are being run by two men who are in a competition with each other to see like the dumbest things they could get away with publicly.
Konami is still winning, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like rich billionaires playing these little games with each other, you know?
So like
playing chicken with a railroad track. Let's see whose company dies first, but get right out of the way at the last second.
Yeah.
So like I'm guessing we're gonna see them try to rectify that in a bit of a too little too late fashion. But
we're gonna bring it over, but we're gonna bring over each game separately for the same price as the full retail package.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus another $10 per thing for the Switch tax.
Yeah, for the Switch tax. Yeah.
There should be a presidential candidate that should run on that next time. We're going to eliminate the Switch tax.
We're going to reduce the Switch tax.
Make Nintendo great again.
I'm with Nintendo.
But man, trying to think of what else we have coming up. I think Monster Hunter is not going to happen. I can't imagine.
I've been playing
I'm
this
saying
game.
that with a grain of salt.
Actually, there
I'm
is
playing
one.
that.
There is one thing that could push Monster Hunter to happening, and that's that Fried has the Japanese version now, and Matt's getting it too. So once everybody on the forums has the Japanese version, that's when it gets announced.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing Monster Hunter Cross right now, and I do think we're going to see a game with a monster in it. It's going to be Godzilla.
You think we're going to see a Godzilla game?
Yep.
There was a Godzilla like fighting game on the Wii, wasn't there? Or was it GameCube?
No, there were both actually. There was a Godzilla game for GameCube and Wii, if I'm recalling correctly.
What kind of a Godzilla game do you think we're getting?
I think I played that.
You can fight each other as monsters, so it's pretty okay.
What kind of Godzilla game do you think we're getting? You think we're getting something along those lines? Do you think we're getting something tied into
It's going to be like Dragon Ball FighterZ with Godzilla monsters.
Oh, nice.
Is this just speculation, or do you have like something you base it on?
There's an actual game coming out in Japan where for PS4 where it's like a survival game where you're just like a normal person and you're trying to run away from these disasters caused by like these famous Japanese kaiju monsters too. I don't know if
awesome.
Godzilla is in it, but Gamera is in it, Ultraman is in it.
I've never heard of this. That's crazy.
I had that exact idea for a game like a long time ago.
Oh, you did?
Not kaiju, but just like basically if like you play just like normal people on the ground as like big battles between like superheroes and gods were taking place, and you just basically had to survive all the shit going on because of it.
Yeah, that's that. Yep, and that's exactly the game that's coming. I think it's only announced for Japan. Who knows if it's ever going to be localized? But it looks awesome. You know, I think the concept is awesome. So I don't know if that would affect a Godzilla game coming out for Switch or anything, but yeah.
No, it's just that they're going to get a Switch port of it, and it's going to have Godzilla in it.
There's going to be an HD Rumble sizzle reel. It's going to be the first game to show off because Godzilla's really...
Oh, never mind. Godzilla is in the game according to a Famitsu page I just found.
There you go.
It shows
Fry just called it coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Rumble.
With HD Rumble, yeah.
Do you think we're going to see any games that make use of the IR camera?
IR camera? Nintendo.
That is the most unused.
I think Nintendo forgot that existed.
Like, what were they expecting to do with that? Honestly, it can look at your hand saying paper, rock, scissors. I just didn't.
At first, I thought they were going to use it as like a calibration tool.
Yeah.
Like they were going to use it to calibrate things, like kind of without you even realizing it was happening.
My Switch Joy-Con still has yet to feel like a glass full of ice cubes.
Well, I haven't played Switch, so I can't.
So that's true.
It's pretty cool. I wouldn't pay $60 for it, but it's a neat little thing.
Okay, I'll wait till it's like $10.
It's a Nintendo published, so that may never happen.
Yeah.
So, any other predictions? Will, do you have any predictions for?
I definitely think we're going to get more information on Fire Emblem Warriors. As far as predictions go, maybe we'll see Fallout 4 for Fallout 4. There was a leak on a Spanish retail site like a month or two ago. Actually had a listing for Fallout 4 for Switch, and then they took it down. I mean, that, of course, that doesn't confirm anything, but, you know, that started rumors going around that Bethesda is looking to make Fallout 4 for Switch. And so that's
they made a big deal out of Skyrim. You have to imagine that there's got to be at least some ambition, if not direct, like ideas to go after it. There's got to be at least some ambition towards using that for something else, using the development they've done to get Skyrim over, to get something else over.
Here's how they tie it in. Samus amiibo, so you can wear the suit, like the Samus Metroid suit, in Fallout 4. I bet that's how they would tie it in with the amiibo, because they're tying in Zelda into Skyrim, and you can actually wear Link's clothing.
That would make sense. That's
amiibo could work for Fallout in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like I could totally picture people dressed like Mario.
I hope if they port Fallout 4 to Switch, they come out with a Fallout amiibo.
Which is like the little guy, the icon,
yeah. I was trying to think of what he's called. I almost called him Pip Boy, but that's like the device on the arm. Vault Boy. Vault Boy.
That would be a really cool amiibo, actually.
That would be badass. I'd buy that day one.
I'd love to see that like as an outfit in Mario Kart or something.
Yeah.
So that's another question. Do you think that now that we're getting these kind of like third-party amiibos, do you think that we're ever going to see those cross over into the Nintendo games in the same way that the Nintendo ones are crossing over into third-party games? I mean, I'm not expecting huge things, but I mean, like, you could see that for, like, Mario Kart, like you said, like an outfit.
Well, I mean, we never expected Mario and Rabbids, and now you have this crazy-looking Yoshi Rabbid, you know, things like that.
I would say anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a new Nintendo.
Yeah.
Wild, crazy Nintendo, but it's new.
Wild, crazy Nintendo that will, like, just out of the blue release a game they canceled 20 years ago on a piece of limited edition hardware.
Yeah.
You know,
so Travis had mentioned before, like, Rabbids plus Mario DLC is an option. And I said, I think we could see a lot of DLC and update stuff coming. I think it's kind of no-brainer that we're going to see more about Splatoon 2 updates, more about ARMS updates. And I think we're going to get something for the Zelda DLC pack too. I think we'll get a date, and I think we might get a trailer because it is a new story in the DLC.
Post-game DLC from what we see.
Yeah, so I could totally see us getting like a small trailer for that, representing the kind of story that's going into that game. They'll probably be a little bit vague just for people that haven't beaten the game. But I could see that being something that we'd get.
Yeah, it's good stuff that's going to keep people busy. I mean, honestly, there's a lot to keep you busy on the Switch, but these, you know, I guess you'd call AAA games that Nintendo's putting out, they're really pumping out constant content. So if you're, you know, buying, I guess, the Nintendo game of the month, I feel like that's like a club at this point. You know, you have something to do all the way through Christmas with nearly everything you got.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's any chance we get Mario Kart 8 DLC? Because, I mean, there was already DLC included in Deluxe.
No,
I wouldn't think until spring next year.
No, there's not going to be any more DLC for Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is a done game. They're done developing it.
They're working on Mario Kart 9.
Yeah, that's a done. There's not going to be any more DLC.
I don't know. I could see it like further down the line, like whenever there's nothing else really going on, because that's kind of what they did with Mario Kart 8.
I would believe they've moved on to Mario Kart 9, and they're probably going to develop DLC for Mario Kart 9 after that.
Here's the thing I could imagine. What if they're working on Mario Kart 9 and they're getting delayed on getting the stuff out? I could see them maybe popping some of the tracks, maybe some of the returning tracks, like the remade ones versus the brand new ones, over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as kind of like a pacifier, saying we're you know, Mario Kart 9's taking a little bit longer. In the meantime, we're going to throw you a few more tracks over to Mario Kart 8.
I don't think that's ever happening.
I could use some more tracks, so I still play that game pretty much every day.
So has the ARMS, I think 3.0 update dropped yet?
I don't think so. You're talking about the one with Lollipop, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine that's going to drop. That's going to be like, go and download this now, you know, and play kind of thing after the Direct. Because I think they said they were going to release it this month, right?
Yeah.
And
that's one of the things I usually call for on my predictions, is that they're going to have a "it's out now" update of some sort.
Yeah, I could see that for that one. I don't know if Splatoon has anything that they've really been pushing lately, but I bet that would be a good thing for them to have people do right after the Direct.
So there anything that you guys think is absolutely not going to be at this event that you've heard some people talking about? I mean, we've talked about Monster Hunter. I think Animal Crossing and Smash are doomed. There's no way that's coming at this Direct.
Smash was supposedly attacked the video, but I don't think it's happening.
I should hold the caveat. It probably might be at the Japanese version because Monster Hunter XX came out in Japan. But
Monster Hunter, you mean, not Animal Crossing or Smash?
I think so.
I mentioned that too.
Animal Crossing, definitely. Smash, definitely not. No way. Unless it's just like an aside, like, oh yeah, Smash is in development. Other than like the possibility of that, no.
Yeah, in Animal Crossing, I feel about the same. The next Animal Crossing game is going to be that mobile game, and it's in trouble development, and they already said they weren't showing any mobile games at this direct.
Right, exactly. So definitely not. Don't expect those games. Don't expect a new Zelda. Don't expect F-Zero. Don't expect Punch-Out. Do not.
Punch-Out would be a nice surprise though, because that's.
Oh yeah.
They did that at a fall direct before out of nowhere.
That's true. I don't know. I kind of feel like, what the hell is Next Level Games working on?
Punch-Out.
Right? I mean, we haven't heard from them in a while. What the hell is Retro working on? Not that I believe we'll ever find out, but...
Retro's working on something that's bound to disappoint its fans, because everyone's been waiting to find out what Retro's been working on since Metroid Prime 3 came out.
Good lord.
And they've been disappointed by everything that's come, and basically assumed that there was something else in the background also being worked on.
The last game Next Level Game has listed on their website is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Like, they stopped developing games when that came out.
Didn't they do Federation Force?
No, did they? Who made Metroid Prime? It's not on check, because you might be right.
I think it was them.
After Federation Force, Next Level Games all disbanded. They read the internet comments and were like, we're out.
Yeah, Next Level Games did do Federation Force. It's weird that's not on their website. But,
I'll admit that. You just released the most, like, unanticipated game. You really want to brag about that?
Well, they have, like, they have Captain America Super Soldier proudly listed on their website, so...
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a Sega game for 360 and PS4.
So, is one thing that I would like to see, do y'all think they might, like, because they're all about the RPGs, maybe a Golden Sun, like, teaser?
Ah, man. Golden Sun, I don't know, like, Camelot's
in a weird space right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nowadays.
And I can't imagine them doing it without Camelot.
I remember the days when each new Nintendo console would come out and people would like sites like Planet GameCube or
I remember that.
There was like another Nintendo website back in the day, but I can't remember the name. But they'd always like do these rundowns of, well, here's the people who make games for Nintendo consoles who are likely making games for GameCube. And Camelot Software would always get listed. And then you'd just sit there, like, especially before the GameCube came out, I just remember sitting there like daydreaming what the hell they were making for GameCube. And then they never made anything for GameCube, at least anything worth a shit. It's like,
the last thing I can think of that Camelot did, didn't they do like some golf game for like computer, for like PC or something?
Well,
it's like a browser-based golf game or something?
Probably. I mean, Camelot did do the first Hot Shots Golf for Sony on the PS1, and then they did Mario Golf for Nintendo, and they did some other golf game for Sega. Like,
yeah,
for the
sometimes
Wii.
when you think like, what are these developers, these awesome developers working on? It's only a recipe for depression, because if you were to say, what about the remaining people that still exist with Factor 5's development team that formed a new studio? What are they working on? Oh, a fish tank.
The latest Barbie game.
Oh, according to Wikipedia, Camelot's last game they did was Mario Sports Superstars for 3DS.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then, like I said, the guys from Factor 5, the last thing they did, I think, was it's not Factor 5 anymore, but the main people involved, they did an aquarium game for iOS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the last thing Factor 5 did as a company was freaking Lair on the PS3, which bombed horribly, which bombed so badly it killed the company. Well, probably shouldn't have ditched Nintendo. The Wii took off, they probably would have been more successful.
Yeah, there were a bunch of Nintendo developers that left around then, and all of them kind of failed.
The Wii kind of caused a few Nintendo developers to like leave.
Silicon Knight's probably the most famous of the group.
Yep, and they're dead, and they all died off like right after doing that. It's like they left Wii to make projects for 360 and PS3, and those bombed and killed the companies. It was not smart. You know?
Well, the thing is that they had a ingrown fan base of Nintendo fans.
Right, exactly.
Largely Nintendo fans that don't have secondary consoles.
Right.
And it was like they were making the games that they weren't getting from the third parties that were making them for the other systems. So like Eternal Darkness was like our Resident Evil, I guess, or something before 4 was announced, you know? It's like, but that's what it was. It was, those games were like our replacements for those other games we weren't getting. And then when they left that audience, well, they don't have any other like fan base, any other group to draw upon.
They didn't have a fan base, and they were competing with every other third-party developer on those systems.
And they're working with publishers that don't have as much of a Q&A like policy, so they're just kind of putting stuff out quickly and
they became more generic.
Yeah.
To kind of appease the masses.
Right.
That hurts them.
And it just did not work for them. And that's like a thing is it's not necessarily like leaving Nintendo was their failure. It's everything that it meant for them leaving Nintendo that was their failure.
I think they didn't think it through. They just thought, oh, I want to make HD games and Nintendo's not putting out a console that's going to let me do that. So I'm going to make games for one of the HD consoles. And I think that's as far as they took that thought, you know?
The only company that did that like abandoned Nintendo at a point like that and then ended up like becoming wildly successful is one we already mentioned in this podcast, which is DMA Designs, which became Rockstar.
Yeah, which became Rockstar.
The time period y'all are talking about too, you also had to deal with the constant change in graphics engines. That's one big thing that was killing, the Silicon Knights. They were constantly redoing their engines for games like Too Human, because every year almost, there was like some sort of crazy change in the way graphics or shaders were really being implemented. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, it's kind of got to that saturation point. We don't see the massive upgrade in graphics anymore. So I think that also did a lot of companies in too that switch over, and they just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, right. It was a lot of it was Silicon Knight was killed a lot by their relationship with Epic and the Unreal Engine.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that's definitely a fault that a lot of developers Nintendo developers have fallen into.
That was the website I was thinking of back in the day. Insider.
Insider.
It's like it was a really, really awesome Nintendo fan site.
There was a good one, Project Dolphin too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never looked them up.
Didn't Project Dolphin become Planet GameCube and that became Nintendo?
Oh, probably.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
They became not Nintendo World Report, but the site that has Nintendo World Report. It's not can't think of it for right now. Yeah, I guess Nintendo World Report. Because I think they used to be Planet GameCube, and I think that might have been Project, or like that Dolphin site before then.
Yeah, the sites back in the day used to be a lot more fun. There was a lot more speculation.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, of course you didn't have things like YouTube comments and things like that back then, so you could have a little more fun without being chastised for...
That's true, yeah, people like, yeah.
Well, a lot of the really big people at those sites ended up becoming big people at other sites, I think, Pierre from IGN used to work on Nintendo Dojo, didn't he? And Fran from IGN had another one.
He's the Project Dolphin guy.
Yeah, he was Project Dolphin. That's right.
Mm-hmm. It was Project Dolphin. I think IGN itself.
Before he got brought into that. So.
IGN itself sprung out of N64.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you want to go way back, does anybody remember Antagonist games on the AOL days?
No,
back when we wrote dinosaurs to work, a long time.
I never used AOL. I was a Prodigy guy.
I was not on the internet in those days. I didn't actually get access. My first access to the internet came when my family got a computer in 1999.
That's late.
That is late. Yeah. Tell me about
it. My first internet connected computer, not even counting, my first computer was way, way back. But my first internet computer was probably like, I don't know, 92, 93, something like that.
Well, the thing is, like, my dad bought my grandpa a computer in 1995, like either 95 or 96. He ran out and he bought a computer for my grandfather, whatever reason. And there was no way to convince that old man to connect it to the internet. He wouldn't do it. All he saw was, he would have to spend money on it and it wasn't useful. So
you didn't show him pornography.
Yeah, I know.
Well, back then you had to download it for a week,
Yeah, you had to download
Get a
it.
picture.
So I got to play with a Windows 95 computer, but it completely disconnected. But that's okay because we had Encarta, we had we had shareware we bought from Walmart, we had Sam & Max Hit the Road.
How many games did I play where I only played the first couple levels because it was shareware?
Yeah.
That was like Doom for me. Like I never played the full Doom. I just played like the shareware.
Oh, I spent so much time on like fucking shareware on my grandpa's computer. like that was like crack for me. I remember like there was like an adventure game like Halloween Harry or something.
I remember I bought like a disc of like all these like small little games for computers, like hundreds of games on a CD-ROM.
Yeah.
And like half of them or more didn't work. Like it just didn't work at all. Like they just wouldn't even boot.
Oh, half of them were garbage. There was like some shitty fighting
It'd be like a Mortal Kombat Pong game.
Yeah.
Like did fatalities after you won or something. It was weird.
Sounds like something that'd be on the Wii.
I actually kind of miss that. There's no equivalent today for that. That's kind of sad.
I don't know. Android App Store, the Android Play Store.
It's pretty terrible.
I guess if you want to like randomly buy like 100 games individually, sure.
Humble bundles. If you want that same feel, go get a Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
Monthly.
But I think the magic of those shareware discs was that you bought them and you didn't quite know what you were gonna get. So it was like a big bundle of discovery. Most of it.
That's the thing. Surprise is dead.
Yeah.
Like surprise is just gone. Like I remember playing Super Smash Brothers Melee and being like so excited every time I like saw a new character, and I'm like, oh shit, you can use this character? Oh my god, and stuff. We knew every character that was in like Brawl like before that game came out.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I kind of wish they would bring that idea of surprise back with Club Nintendo or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Cause
My Nintendo.
My Nintendo. Yeah, we kind of had that though, where you could get like a game, but now they don't even allow Switch things on there, or they haven't added Switch things on there.
Yeah, it said Switch stuff humming, and it said that since March.
It's nothing exciting. It's like a freaking wallpaper or some shit.
And don't get me wrong, I like the calendars. I'm a nerd for those, but other than that, there's nothing.
There's nothing on.
I kind of wish they'd give us a little demo pack or something.
Yeah, I kind of wish like they would definitely like do something.
They used to do a few things on like Wii through like Club Nintendo where you could only get them through Club Nintendo or something. Like they had was it that Doc Lewis Punch-Out game or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Where all you did was box Doc Lewis. Like you didn't box anybody else. It was just him. And then they had there's another game I'm trying to think of. It was like you used like one of those extendable arm things on like a barbecue or something. And that was exclusive to like Club Nintendo. So they had like a few things. They were horrible, but they had them.
Well, they used to actually send you sizzle reels too on VCR. I remember that way back in the
Nintendo Power, yeah. They'd send, those were actually pretty
that.
cool. And they'd have like little vague hints that you'd have to analyze and look over too. I remember they did the Donkey Kong Country one, and it had like the first kind of like hint at Killer Instinct, I think, at the end of the video, and everyone was trying to like figure out what it was.
Oh, I still have the Killer Instinct CD, like the game music. That stuff was awesome. I miss things like that, though. These little extra pack-ins that now you got to spend an extra $40 to get the special edition and pre-order it that most people are just going to go ahead and put on eBay anyway.
That used to be kind of what Nintendo Directs were when they started to kind of bring this back in. It was these like little fun things, because it wasn't just game reveals. It was, as I was talking to Will about earlier, it was Iwata staring at bananas. Just other weird shit that like kind of only made sense if you're a Nintendo fan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's the price you pay though when something's successful. And now we're getting to the point to where, the Nintendo is becoming like the system to have. And that hasn't been a place we've been in as Nintendo enthusiasts in a long time. So we're not going to be getting all the fun little handouts because they don't need them anymore.
Yeah, they don't need us anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All we can do is hug each other and cry.
Yeah.
But at least we can play.
So that's our discussion. We went way off track at at several points, but hey, that's half the fun.
That's half the fun. Besides, I just think there's just so much speculation, reasonable speculation you can do on the Nintendo Direct, because, like you can certainly go out there and say new Smash Brothers and new F-Zero, and and Nintendo's buying Microsoft, and so expect Halo 7. But but if you're gonna make reasonable guesses, there's only so much right now that can reasonably be announced. Not that I'm saying like there can't be surprises out of left field. There certainly can. They certainly can announce
and there have been, and in fall directs in particular, there have been some big surprises. Bayonetta 2, I believe, was the fall direct surprise. Punch Out, as we've mentioned, that was a fall direct surprise. So we've definitely had them, and this is a long one. This is a 45-minute direct. We haven't had one of those in a while, and Nintendo's been kind of getting faster with the way they present information in the direct, so that's been better. I hope that's still the case, because if it's not, then maybe it is just Mario Odyssey and like Metroid for 3DS for 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that could very well be it. I mean, they like showing off their games, and they like talking about how they made them and what inspiration there was. We saw that a lot, like with things like Mario Maker on a previous announcement. So, and it seems like they keep harkening back to that.
Yeah, but you've kind of heard our rambling predictions for the Direct. The Direct is happening tomorrow. I believe it's 3 p.m. Pacific time, right? 6 p.m. Eastern. So that would be 5 p.m. Central, and 4 p.m. Mountain, I think. So, that's the times for the Direct. It's like midnight if you're like in England or Paris or something. Somewhere in Europe. Who cares about them?
Forget Norway.
Yeah.
Who cares about Norway? Have some angry Norwegian on there today.
But yeah, so that's what's coming up. We're probably not going to do a follow-up to this directly right away. There's a lot of other topics we've been wanting to touch on for a while. That we might put ahead of this if the Direct ends up being like a truly special thing tomorrow. If this is like a oh my god, this was amazing thing, then we probably will do an update. You think it will be?
Yeah.
You're fully on the hype train, Fried.
They have a position right now. Everything they would do like pretty much every time.
Fried is like pulling on the steam horn right now. He's running up and down the streets yelling, "Woo woo!"
Well, I'm unfortunately going to catch it late because I'm helping somebody tear out flooring and walls. But I'll catch it as soon as it's dark. I'll see what's the cool
I'm
stuff.
going to catch it late because Nintendo scheduled it for to happen while I'm going to be doing a math test.
Y'all could be like texting or messaging both of us like crazy stuff tomorrow whenever you are watching it. Like, oh my gosh, GTA 5 Mario DLC, and we totally down like, oh my gosh, that happened? But
yeah, I'm
going to Photoshop it out.
It's a new Battlefield game exclusive to Switch.
Oh man, PlayerUnknown's Battlefield.
PlayerUnknown's.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Anthem for Switch.
Monster Hunter World canceled. Monster Hunter XXX coming to Switch exclusively. And the XXX holds its meaning.
Yes.
New bestiality mechanics. Oh, sorry.
Oh, whoa, yikes.
And on that note, with me taking it too far, thank you everybody for listening. And if this ends up being a truly special Direct, then we'll get together again fairly soon if we can. We'll try to work that out and talk about it again. So thank you everybody for listening. Good night, everybody.